Good evening and welcome to the iGPFun Super Formula Lights League. Round 2 of the championship takes us to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City, Mexico. I am Tom Cant. In the commentary position alongside me is Jim Cunningham, who's with me to take us on a tour of a brand new circuit that's been added to the iRacing cycle. And we're looking forward to see what this can produce. Last week, the series raced at Interlagos, of which Johan Annette came out as the well-deserved winner on that occasion over Amel Younes and Ludwig Ranson completing the podium. Tony Jimenez, who finished second in last season's championship, managed fourth position with Krish Patel in fifth place. And that is essentially the Drivers' Championship, considering they've only done one race. And it's a whole lot more to go from there. There are 12 rounds in total. We go to the Red Bull Ring after this, then to Brands Hatch in the UK, Hockenheim, Germany, and it's off to the States at Austin, or Coates, if you rather call it. Then we're staying at stateside over at Watkins Glen in New York, and it's back to the UK at Snetterton on the 300 course. Then it's to North America in Canada, Montreal at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Then it's off to the Land of the Rising Sun in Japan at the Suzuka Circuit, a legendary track for the drivers. Then we head back to the States at Long Beach, California, and then the final round of the season will be in Italy at Imola. And 10 of the drivers' best scores will count towards their final totals. Let's bring Jim Cunningham into the booth and hear from him and see what he thinks this one is going to go. Jim, hello to you. We're just in qualifying right now with Eunice Amel at the top of the timing pages. We've run about 10 minutes remaining of the session, so still plenty of time for drivers to improve. What are you looking out for here?
Well, I think first of all, this is a new circuit to the iRacing platform, so I would say that there's nobody on here going to have a ton of experience on this track, so that should be somewhat of an equalizer. They all had about the same opportunity to learn the track. This, from what I've seen of this track, I've done one or maybe even two races since they brought it on to the circuit. I mean, to the series. I think that it seemed to have a lot of passing zones for GT cars. This will be my first Formula race from here, so if that holds true, I think we're in for a lot of action this evening. This track just seemed to breed a lot of just passing and action and excitement.
And so we look at Brad Fulliger, who's on a fast lap, the second fastest right now on a 1 minute 34.4. It's Eunice and Amal who's fast as well. Johan Net, last week's race winner for the Artendelia racing team. Now the flag that you are seeing under Johan Net's name, that's the flag of Quebec. It's not actually a national flag that he's racing under. He's racing under the flag of Quebec. And we've got two American drivers in the top four, Andy Flint and Robbie Ridgway, third and fourth. The highest Brit in the field, Brad Fulliger, in second position.
Every time I see Andy Flint's name with his nickname Maverick, of course that makes me think of the movie Top Gun, which I'm sure is why he picked that name. But yeah, so I feel like we need well, you probably wouldn't get the reference anyway, but I was going to say we probably need a goose in here, but you don't know who Goose is, do you?
I wouldn't be able to guess off the top of my head.
No, that was his partner in the movie. That was his flight buddy. But anyway, that's another story for another time. But yeah.
We've got 38 drivers registering for tonight. Darren
nice field.
Macabfunga is still yet to set a time, as is Ludwig Ranson. Ludwig Ranson's been racing in this championship for a very, very long time now.
Oh, that ain't going to help us.
Well, that's a spin for Ranson on his first time lap, or at least an attempt in this qualifying session. I think that's his out lap, actually, thinking of it. So he's not going to have done those tyres any good, though, so he may want to head back into the pit lane and get another set put on before he continues.
Yeah, those tires are going to be angry at him for a little while there, for sure. At least iRacing doesn't penalize you with a flat spot yet. I heard that's coming, actually, so that'll change iRacing greatly when that happens.
He's coming through the stadium section now to begin a fast lap.
I love that stadium section.
It is a very modernised stadium, but my only criticism of it is that it takes away some of the flow around this course. I get why they added it, but I'm not keen on it just from a driver's point of view. It's nice for the fans who are basically sitting inside the Forest Soul. That's the name of the stadium, in case you're wondering why it's called that. But just, if I was a driver and I was going through there, it kind of ruins the flow of the lap, and that's why I'm not so keen on it. I've always preferred the parallel tilde hairpin, the long sweeping right-hander before the pit straight, but it's a very bumpy section as well. If you see drivers go through there flat out, you're just waiting for an accident to happen. It's not nice to see.
See, well, apparently the stadium section is an old baseball field, and this is the baseball stadium that replaced it. And so this is a giant sports complex apparently and you can see a track for track and field events back there in the background, and soccer fields here. But apparently that's an old baseball stadium is what the stadium section of the course actually is, which is kind of cool for repurposing a baseball stadium. That's a pretty neat idea, actually.
And so we see Johan Annett, third fastest with his latest time, a 1:34.3, 3/10 off the pace of Yunus Amel. He's done very well to get up to where he has throughout this session, but I'd imagine there's still some improvements to be made from the field that's coming through. Now he's going through the S's section, and then he'll be entering the Forest Soul. There are a total of 17 corners in total. Some corners where may not be perceived as corners on the map, but they are listed as they are. That one is turn 12 that Annett has gone through. Then through the hairpin of 13, and there's 14, and there's a slight kink on the left, 15, and it's 16. And then it's just basically a 90-degree sweeper to the line. And this latest lap of Johan Annett is not enough, I don't think, to put him to the top. No, he stays where he is. I think that last time may have actually been an improvement for Annett, but he remains in P3.
I'm trying to see. I don't really see anybody that's throwing up any real numbers right now. Everybody's just kind of seems like the track is kind of leveled off. Now there's somebody with a purple sector. Stephen Dotter. He's currently in 7th on what looks to be a decent lap anyway.
Well, there is Stefan Dodderer. Looking at where he ended up last week, it was quite a crash fest last week. Because a lot of drivers did compete that time around. Over 50, in fact, competed last week at Interlagos.
Big field at Interlagos last week. It was definitely action everywhere.
But Stefan Dodderer, I can't really see his name. I think it was one of those that didn't actually finish that one, Stefan, so he needs to make up for lost time. He'll use that as one of his drop scores. They can't afford too many mistakes across the whole season. Championship will end up finishing by the time we get to around Christmas, and the drivers can have a little break before 2026 beckons.
Johan Annett is on a fast lap right now too, really fast lap.
And quick enough to go fastest.
Yeah, he just jumped the pole.
The first drive into the 1:33s, Johan Annett, unleashing his potential and good enough to move in front of Yunus Amel to pole position. And Brad Fulliger is in P3. He's aiming for an improvement on this lap. Some drivers have been completing more laps than others during the course of this qualifying session. We've got 2 minutes to go, so there's still time for one last attempt for each of these drivers. Luca Ferrani, one of the organisers of this league who's competing, he's in 14th place for the JPFun 67 squad. I think he's the only representative of that particular team.
Yeah, he seems to be. I'm sitting here looking at some of these times. Man, this is that lap Annett put down was his 6th lap of the race or of the qualifying session, and he turns in a 1:33. That just goes to show you that you would think it's 6-lap old tires that they would be suffering already, but obviously they still had plenty of grip left in them.
Down the back straight comes Luca Ferrari. Tom Donahoe's got up to 5th place with his
there you go.
Latest lap. That time was a 1:34.5. Not to go into the top 5 for Donahoe.
Pretty early in the morning there in Australia for Tom.
It will be. Don't know whereabouts he's situated because there are different time zones across Australia. But good enough for him. He's clearly wide awake. I don't know if he's taking any energy drinks or where he's taking maybe an energy and hydration tablet in his water like I do on a daily basis.
Yeah, maybe so. It's because either he's up early or he's staying up late. One of the two. Of course, you and I, we know Tom from another league that we cover here on the JPBroadcasting network that we've covered for several years.
And we look at Andy Flynn, the American, gone in for another strong result. Last week, he ended up in a... Where did he finish last week, Andy Flint? Looking on the list of...
He had an action week. I think he ended up decent, but, man, he was in several incidents.
He was 29th in the end.
Okay, yeah. Because there was incidents galore last week, and I know he was in a couple of them.
His latest lap is, he's 4th fastest right now. He's Flint. It was a good effort so far. But the checker flag is out, and we wait for the final set of lap times. There's only a few out there, just a handful that are aiming to improve. Momentaski is on a lap. What is he doing at the moment? Is he actually improving on his latest time? Well, Scott Taylor is out on track as well.
Yeah,
he's aiming on an improvement. And his latest is it good enough to improve? No, he's just stopped on circuit, so he stays where he is. Behidden Ayan doesn't look like he's going to be improving. Adam Talsma is also out on track. He's in the stadium section now. I think this is more or less that. I don't think we're going to see any drastic changes on the timing tower. And the grid looks like it's going to be what it is with Johan Annette on pole position.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think certainly nobody's going to take pole away at this point, but I mean, I guess there could be some improvement. This is Adam's shot here to jump it up. Let's see if he improves.
And over the line comes Robert Ridgway, or Adam Talsma, I should say. And that latest lap is, that lap wasn't actually an improvement for Talsma, so he remains in 35th position.
So we've got...
That is Robert Ridgway's just gone over the line. I don't think he improved on his latest lap. Although he actually did. He did improve, and he's up to 6th place, is Ridgway. I think he might have improved in time, but not in position.
Place. Yeah, I believe so. That's right.
Tasky, who has done his final effort in this session, he will line up in 12th position. He should come back into pit road.
There we go.
And there we go. That is the conclusion to qualifying. And we can run down on the grid for today's race here in Mexico City. And it's Johan Annette on pole position with Eunice Amau alongside Brad Fulliger and Andy Flint on row 2, Tom Donahoe and Rob Ridgway on row number 3. Noah Fowl and Tony Jimenez on row 4, Stefan Dodderer and Scott Haddock next up. There's Antoine Holstein and Mehmet Taski on the 6th row, Justin Fields and Luca Ferrani on row 7, Eddie Amos and Clark Williams on row 8, then it's Jerry Bull and Alexei Yukish on row number 9, Scott Taylor and Albert Harari rounding up the top 20. Bahidin Ayan and Ludwig Ranson on row 11, George Taylor and Denny Cornu on the 12th row of the grid, Ben Goya and Harry Saston on row 13, that's Sayek Willems and Nguyen on the 14th row, Richard Van Veen and Andrew Harris in 29th and 30th positions, respectively. Nathan Rosso and Dorian Arroyo. Arroyo's competed on home turf. He's in 32nd place, ahead of Eddie Esquirol and Kuchi Ito on row 17. There's Adam Tausman, Oscar Artanano on row number 18 in 35th and 36th places. And rounding off the grid, we've got Alex Hopkins and Darren Makavunga.
Better you than me on that last name there, Adam.
Just leave that to me.
You're in charge.
We're waiting for more drivers to get onto the grid. There are some that are going to be starting on the kink, though, I think. Which
It's close, yeah.
It shouldn't be too much of an issue.
No, it should be okay.
There is a time limit from when the session begins to when the lights do go out, so drivers have got around about another 20 seconds to make their way onto the grid if they haven't already done so. I think we are still going to get, I think we're going to get all the drivers on the straight pretty much, so we should be good to go, unless we see some drivers starting from the pit lane. Unsure of how the briefing's going to play out here, but I'm sure the drivers are used to going around the first lap without too many incidents, without any active overtakes, but we could well see some this time around before a briefing does get put out the next time we race here. But the lights are coming on now. Johan Net on pole with Yunus ML alongside. We've got 1 light, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lights are on. Lights off. It's go in Mexico City. A good getaway from Johan Net. No, a minimal amount of wheel spin, unlike Yunus Amo, who's got a car alongside him, which is Brad Fulliger, and Andy Flint will make the most of the tow as they come towards the first right-hander of turn 1. Someone's dropped out in the background. We'll get more of that. And there's 2 cars that have already come together, and that's going to cause more problems behind. We'll get to that in a moment. But right now is Johan Nat leads out the first 3 corners of the circuit, and Tony Jimenez looks like he's spun round, Jim.
Yeah, this is a lot of action here for this series. They usually like to keep it pretty quiet on this first lap.
And Annette's getting swamped here by Yunus Amo. Goes to the outside at turns 4 and 5. Is Amal through? He's not quite there yet. And you can just see Annette taking to the curb on the outside to retain the lead. And we are seeing the timing tower coming on our screen now, so we know that where everyone is. But it's Annette who leads. It's Amal second. It's Fulliger third. It's Flint fourth. Donahoe, Ridgway, Frau Jimenez, who's 8. Dodderer and Tasky are those running up the top 10. The top 9 remain in the same positions as what they were on the grid, but I think they can start overtaking now actively. And you can just see Fulliger all over the rear of Amal on this short back straight before they get to turn 12. And that's Donohue through on Flint, heading into the Forest Sol.
Yeah, that was a nice move by Donahoe there. It's like they were just setting it up and waiting for their opportunity for the passing zones to open up.
Absolutely on form. And coming out of the last corner, Enna, who's already bridged out that 1 second margin already over the others, leaving them for dead. But there is a long way to go in this race. There is a certain number of laps they will be doing here. I think it's something like 35 they'll be expected to do. It won't be an hour of racing here in Mexico City.
Actually, see if I can change that and get that corrected on the scoring tower.
Just keep an eye on the field for now. You can see the clouds are gathering over the circuit here in Mexico. There's a little bit of shuffling going on in the field. You can see 2 drivers with brief yellows next to their name. That would mean that they've got slowdowns, which they'll have to adhere to. Cornu's got damage at the back in one of the Unity racing cars. And there we just see Justin Fields testing it out with what looks like Luca Ferrani just ahead in that purple and yellow liveried machine. And Fields with the turquoise coloured rims on the tyres of his.
That looks really good, actually.
I do like it as well. There's a car off. That is Mehmet Taski, who's gone off on the exit of turn number 10.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether he's gone into the barrier or not, but he's dropped down the order. Scott Haddock has come through the field nicely, and Taski's trying to rejoin, and he's in a dangerous spot on the circuit.
Yeah,
that's going to cause problems for others if he's not careful.
See real quick what happened to him there, if he did get into the barrier or not.
You can see 2 cars over, and that's Stefan Dodderer going through.
Yep. Oh.
I think he ran it to the rear. I think that might have been Jimenez he collided with.
And then Dodder just like took off through no man's land there. That was very strange.
Yeah, he's in a dangerous spot there. He was trying to wait for a decent enough gap to rejoin. But now Varani's on the tail of Tony Jimenez coming out of turn 3.
Also, we got up here, this is for the lead. That gap has dissipated and that had built up.
We saw a car pulled to the side of the circuit. I couldn't tell who it was. It might have been in Guyan.
Oh,
It just
actually,
stopped over at turn 4.
my mistake. That's second and third. I apologize. Second and third.
Yeah, Eunice Amel's second place ahead of Brad Fulliger through the S's. And so far, so good for Amel after a decent enough showing at Interlagos. Second it was back then. Second so far today with Johan in the lead. Brad Fulliger, who looking at where he ended up last week in that round at Interlagos, I'm not sure if he actually raced that time. He may have missed that one. If he has, he can at least use that as one of his drop scores for the season. He won't want to miss too many more after that. You can just see Amel's just bridging himself clear over Fulliger as the laps continue to wind down here. We're on lap number 4. And so far, it is Johan leading the way by 2.6 seconds. And then we can just see a battle between Flint and Ridgway over 5th position. Ridgway to the outside of his compatriot, on the brakes later. And through turns 1 and 2, gets the car on the apex for 2. And Flint just didn't have anything to respond to that.
Yeah, that was a nice move there. Flint's dropping back a little bit. He's dropped 2 spots since where he started the race. Seems to be a bit unsettled there. The car hadn't leveled out or settled in for him yet.
Now it's Ridgway in 6th position, and coming out of that absolutely fine. And the S's is a very tricky one because of the curves, which can really suck you in if you are very unlucky. You can throw you off the circuit, which is kind of a similar thing to what we saw with Mehmet Taski, even though it wasn't the curbs that threw him off the track.
I wish we had a track map so that we could show everybody, the circuit and where everyone's at on the circuit. But this thing is so new that iRacing doesn't even have a track map yet for it.
Well, coming through the forest there, we see Eddie Amos in front of Ludwig Ranson, who is quietly making his way through the field. He started 22nd. He's now just got by Eddie Amos for 14th. And coming out of the last couple of corners, a little twitch the rear of Ranson's car. He's able to live to fight another day. And down the pit straight.
Oh,
and you can see Ridgway and Flint fighting here, Jim.
Yeah, this seems to be the battle right now. These two are going at it tooth and nail.
2.2 kilometers above sea level is this racetrack.
Yeah, it's actually famous for its elevation. I think it's considered one of the highest elevation racetracks in the world.
I wouldn't say it's the elevation. It's just the fact that it's one of the highest above sea level.
Yes, well, that's what I meant. Yeah. Not elevation changes, but just the highest, one of the highest in the world above sea level.
And because it's high above sea level, it means the air is thinner, which can make for... It's kind of like an equalizer in a way. If you've got a car that is more potent in terms of engine power, this is not the circuit to have it, because the engines don't like thin air like it does on most circuits.
Right.
Hence why you would use the highest downforce setup possible to basically find the efficiency and consistency of performance around this circuit lap by lap. Because even with this long straight, the thin air counteracts. It's like friction, if you want to call it. You know, where every time you go down a pit straight, you want to go as quick as possible. The thin air counters it. It kind of like slows it down, which explains why a low downforce setup here is not a good idea.
Interesting. I was not actually aware of that. I should know that information.
And there we see an overtake from, I think that's Dodder on...
Dodder in front.
Dodder into 6th position. We are seeing some breakaways in the field, but I will say that we've got a brilliant fight for 2nd place between Brad Fulliger and Eunice Amel, who have got nothing to lose, really. Well, I say they've got nothing to lose. I mean, you've got everything to lose from where they are, but you can just see Annette is breaching the gap more and more and more. It's insane to see. Justin Fields has got a slowdown next to his name. So he will need to just slow down a touch, which he does so now.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's had that there for a while. If he didn't get it served, they'll sure put a black flag on him.
Well, down towards turn 12 they come. Fulliger, Amal, and then Donahoe has joined in the party. He's slowly closing on these, so it's just a second off Amal, but you don't need me to tell you the gap, because Donahoe in that green livery machine behind the Unity racing car is wheeling him more and more and more. And Flint is in 8th, Jimenez, second in the championship last season, is in 9th, Luca Ferrani in 10th place. Lee Aberdeen, the reigning champion, is not around this campaign. I don't know if it's the fact that it tends to does this championship every other season. Perhaps he's got other commitments going on involving him, but he's not involved in the championship as far as we know. But this could give Johan Annette a chance to really pull away. And I have to say, every time I see Johan Annette turn up, it's almost like he's not human. It's like an AI in disguise. He's that quick.
And the thing is, you know, I mean, he has a pretty high I rating, but it's not like insanely high, you know. I mean, he's well, let's take a look at it. Have that opportunity. It's a wait, where's his I rating? Somewhere. There we go. Yeah, so he's a, you know, just right at 6,000 I rating, which is high, but not, you know, not like a 10 or a 12 or anything.
I'm looking at his license. It says that he's got 3.37. Amal's is 3.49, which is encouraging. And Brad Fulliger in second place has got a license rating of 2.16. In terms of class or grade, it's still a grade A. But either way, Fulliger is getting on with the job, and he's not going to be able to do anything about Johan Annette unless Annette makes a mistake somewhere. But I've hardly seen Annette make a mistake ever since I've started seeing him perform on circuit. We're now on lap number 8 out of 35. I was right with the lap count.
Yes,
it is around about 150 kilometers is the race distance.
Yeah, I was able to find that and get it up there accurately.
So far, there is another one of the Unity racing cars, Ludwig Ransson in 14th, watching Clark Williams attacking Justin Fields at turn 1. Williams on the inside of Fields, and that was a slam dunk one. I think from the moment Fields had Williams alongside him, he felt it wasn't really worth fighting and just following through, because otherwise when you start battling with another driver, you just lose ground to the cars in front, which is not what you want. It's almost like they're all veterans here, Jim, because they know how this works. It's essentially a sprint, but you've got to play the long game.
Yeah, that's an accurate description. Actually, that's it is essentially a sprint. There'll be no pit stops, I don't believe. So, you know, yeah, you just got to go for it.
4 retirements from this race. Darren Makavunga has not started at all. Eddie Iskerol, Richard Van Venen and Guyan are the other ones out. The last one still running is Harry Saston, who's in 34th place. The lock-up further ahead of Williams and Fields. That might have been from... Who's that's just made the lock-up there? As Williams gets by... Is that a back marker, actually? It might be a back marker. It's got in the way there. That's not good for Justin Fields. And that allowed Ludwig Ransson to go through. Fields will not be impressed with that. I wondered who that was that got in the way. We'll find out soon enough. But either way, Fields will want to get back through on Ransson again. He'll have a very strong toe down this pit straight. But what does Ransson decide to do? Well, he is holding him up. And he's allowing him to go to the outside, which is the racing line for when they go through turn 1 and 2, but it's the inside line for Ransson, who was able to hold on to the place at the expense of Fields, who just has to settle in 14th place.
Yeah, Ransson definitely took advantage of that situation there and got that pass done. We'll see if Fields is faster. You know, Fields has actually went kind of backwards. I think he had moved up a couple spots, and then he's lost those and one from where he started at originally. But yeah, he seems to be kind of going the other way right now.
We're around about a quarter of the way through, and Euronet's lead is now 7 seconds over Brad Fulliger, who is now 1.6 clear of Yunus Amal. Some changes in the field. It looks like Fields has made an error, and he's got a slowdown
Again.
And that'll be it. Yeah, that's not the first slowdown he's had in this one. He's down to 18th position. I don't know where he's lost the places. Oh, that's a car in the barrier. That's not your Ranson. How did he drop that? That was so bizarre.
Goodness.
And I think someone might have touched the debris. I think someone touched the debris at the back. We'll get to that in a moment. Ludwig Ranson does his best to get back to the pit lane. And he needs to be careful he doesn't trip over anyone on the way there. But it's so bizarre. It's very unlike Ludwig Ranson. He does get back to pit lane. But how on earth did he drop it into the barrier like that?
What's weird is it's not showing up as an incident. Like his name's not even mentioned.
Well, that's really, it is a very bizarre one.
And that was definitely, that was him for sure.
He's coming out of the pits now. He'll rejoin behind Dorian Arroyo. Or maybe just ahead of him if he's lucky. He'll lock up behind Yunus Amal, Tom Donahoe.
Let's see where this puts us. All right, he's already wrecked there.
That's after. That's the aftermath of it, Jim. This is before now. But we're looking at the wrong car. That's Jerry Bull, who is already behind.
Yeah,
he was behind him just before he got by him. That's Ludwig Ranson.
He tore up there already?
It's that curb. It's that high curb that just sucks you in.
Let's oh yeah, he sure did.
It's almost like a skateboard and just going off in the wrong direction.
Ooh, man. Yeah, he tore that car up bad.
He's back in the race now anyway. Albeit he's now down in... Where is he in the field? He's 23rd in actual fact. And there is Denny Corney that stopped on circuit. What has he managed to get up to?
Oh, he just had an incident as well.
Well, he's come together with someone. And who was that behind him? That was just coming through.
George
I can't really
Taylor,
tell you.
maybe?
It might be George Taylor. That's over at turn 4. Oh, that's really bizarre.
That's strange.
But he just stopped there and didn't bother rejoining.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that was. Oh, wait a minute. I think he had an incident maybe earlier, and that was the aftermath of it.
This is Cornu. This over at turn 12, entering the forest. Oh, he went straight on there.
What in the world?
Is that a brake failure? Was that a brake failure for Denny Cornu? Did very well to not go straight into the Tech Pro.
Well, he obviously got it stopped, so I wonder if he just completely, totally missed his brake marker there. And then
There is...
I don't know. And then he's going to come around here, and then that's when he's going to just pull it off to the side of the track and tow to the pits.
I'm interested to see whether he did try to get the car slowed down at turn 1. Did Denny Cornu?
I mean,
does he get through turn 1 fine?
Yeah. I mean,
turn 1 fine there.
That's a pretty heavy braking zone too. That's all right. We're gonna go from that because he's gonna pull over right here. So we're gonna go from that real quick to something that currently just happened. This is Justin Fields.
Yeah.
And
he's got Jerry Bull ahead. Bull runs wide, I think.
Oh.
Unless it was... might not have been Jerry Bull, actually. It might have been one of the other Arnsandella racing team cars. It might have been...
I think that was it. I think he just had a lockup. I thought it was going to be a wreck, but it looks like it was just a lockup. All right,
either way, he's still in the race. It's Justin Fields is running in 16th position. Yero Net to lead the way, and now we're seeing Fields tossing it with Williams and Ben Goyette. This is a three-way battle for 16th position. Through they go once more.
I have to say, at this point in the race, I'm a little bit surprised that the cars have spread out like they have. I to be honest, I fully expected there to be a lot more close battles at this point. And maybe that's the nature of, you know, these open wheel cars at this track versus the GT cars, which is what I've seen race here so far.
Lap 13. Race continuing to don't know. I have to say, Andy Flynn, since we last spoke about him, has lost positions to Rob Widgway and Stefan Dodderer. He's down to P7.
Yeah, he's dropped back. Just he's down 3 spots total for the race. And it looks like he's got who's that? Dale on his tail here. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Believe that one to you too. Oh, there you go. Noah, I got that. I can do that. Yeah, he's for some reason Andy does not seem comfortable here. You know, like he's just never got settled in. But that could be the nature of a new track. Maybe he didn't get a lot of laps here, you know.
That is a possibility. There could be signs of rustiness involving the field, more or less. If you have joined us in the live chat, we do welcome you. Do let us know who you're rooting for and who you think's going to win. McSooms is coming and saying that the Cole Ridgeway, the curb master in the inner circles, and less downforce too, I think, because the wings work less efficiently. That is very, very true. That goes back to what I was saying earlier, Jim, about the fact that downforce, well, the wings don't work as efficiently, hence why you put it on the highest downforce possible to get basically all the aero performance that you want.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess I never really looked at it. I thought about it like that with these higher elevation circuits. I'm trying to think what other high elevation circuits there are. I know there's a couple that are you always hear them talk about. I just can't remember which ones they are.
Well, Red Bull Ring is one of them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I know that one because that's around about 700 meters above sea level.
Is Spa higher elevation?
I'm not so sure that it is. I must say that Oscar Artenanu's had a moment on circuit, hence why he's got that black and orange flag next to his name.
Let's see what happened to Oscar.
I can tell you that Spa is 470 meters above sea level at the Les Combes chicane. So at the end of where the Kemmel Straight is around Spa, Les Combes is 470 meters above sea level. So, when you get to Stavelot, it's 373.
Okay, so I mean it's relatively high elevation. I mean it's certainly not sea level. That wasn't much of an incident to give him a meatball flag, was it? Look, that was not a whole lot there. Kind of surprised by that.
I totally missed the Artenanu incident.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because I was focused on getting the Spa elevation, sea level thing.
It wasn't much. I mean, it's just a wheel-to-wheel contact. They just kind of bumped each other, but it must have broke his suspension or something to give him a meatball. It wasn't anything major.
These are very fragile machines.
They are.
So even the lightest of touches can really put you in a whole lot of bother. Tony Jimenez continuing on the Spanish speaker. Competing here in Mexico, running in 8th position. Noah Fowl in 9th. And it's Luca Ferrani in 10th place. That car in between them is a bat marker. And when we look at Clark Williams, running in 14th, he's got Jerry Bull. Side by side with him through turns 4 and 5. And behind Bull is a bat marker. That's not Justin Fields who's behind him.
Not.
Fields is another few seconds back.
Well, we know Justin Fields' car because of those because of the colors on it. The pretty blue wheels. But yeah, this was this battle was heating up here for a second. They've kind of separated just a little bit, but they were down to like 2/10 here just a little bit ago.
George, 16.
George Taylor from the RRS Racing Bloodline just looks like had an incident here. Trying to see if he was involved. It was a solo. I think it was a solo incident.
This is George Taylor, who is coming through turn 4, and he just completely missed his braking point. That was exactly the same as what happened to Denny Cornu earlier.
Yeah, it seemed like it. And then while I'm here, let's Oscar. Oh no, well, he's already had an incident, and he just came out of the pit road too.
On cold tires.
Wow, that seemed like more than cold tires, though, didn't it? He was all over the place.
Yeah, you could just tell by the way he tried to attack the corners in the same ways he has done in the previous laps when the tyres he had on were already up to temperature, whereas those that he just come out of the pits on won't have been up to anywhere near enough temperature to allow him to attack the corners in the same way.
Yeah, he definitely, that's a good example of what cold tires will do to you right there.
11 seconds the gap between Johanna in the lead and Brad Fulliger in second. And Amel is in third place. And it's Donahue who's not been able to do anything since the last we heard. There is a lock up ahead. I think that might have been from Eddie Amos ahead of Jerry Bull. Alexei Yukish has lost a position to Scott Taylor further ahead.
Yep.
In their battle over P11. Taylor ahead now of Yukish. He's got quite a margin to make up there on Luca Ferrani, 8.5 seconds to be precise.
This battle here is getting warm. He's about to pass Fields, it looks like.
It's Soak Williams and
Fields.
That's Fields.
That's going to be a
he's going to get a slowdown for that. Yeah, he has to let him by, I think, because he definitely gained an advantage.
He's going to spin.
Going through that, a spin, and that serves injustice really for missing the chicane at the end because he couldn't keep hold of the position. And I think Fields had that coming in all honesty, but at least that slowdown's gone.
Yeah, well, that's one way to remove it. Man, he's got to be getting close to the incident limit, you know? I mean, we've seen him he's had at least 3 slowdowns so far and a spin right there. I mean, I wondered if he's, you know, pushing the incident limit a little bit here as Scott Taylor trying to hold off, well, that's in a Yukish. Well,
he needs to be careful doing that, Scott Taylor, because that's what can get you a slowdown. He's got Yukish alongside through turn 6, and then this will be turn 7, 8, 9, and 10 that they'll be filtering through. Got Yukish to the outside. Is he able to hold on to the place, Yukish? This is going to be a mightily tough thing to hold on there, but he actually makes the overtake work, does Yukish, so fair play to him.
Yeah, and now Eddie Amos has joined this battle as well. Now it's a 3-way battle here, and yeah, I mean, this is shaping up to be a nice little battle back here for 13th, 14th in that area.
We don't really mention Eddie Amos very much in competing in the top 10. He's very much a regular in this series, but it's rare that we see him fighting to get into the top 10. He's usually sort of competing around about 17th or 18th positions, but this is one of his better races for Eddie Amos.
Well, there you go.
And now he's got a chance to, you know, this is actually for 11th position if he gets by both Taylor and Yukish, but you never know what could happen further up ahead.
They jump. Oh, all right. See how that works out. Yeah, is he going to make it though? I don't think he's going to hold it, is he?
Well, he is on the racing line, and he braked later compared to Taylor. Taylor leaves him a lot of room.
Yeah.
And Amos is able to go back in front there. So nice driving from Eddie Amos. But Hidden Ayan has been in the pits, and I reckon he's had some form of trouble on circuit that's contributed to the reason why he's gone into pit lane. He's back on circuit now in 22nd position.
Yeah, this is
Bahidin Ayan over at turn 12. What did he manage to do here? Did he do what Ludwig Runson did earlier? He did.
Yep.
And he collided.
He did.
He didn't apply the brakes when he needed to have done, Bahidin Ayan.
And again, while we're down here, we've got Rancone has had another incident. Talk about a bad day getting worse.
It's the same corners
spot
where he had that shunt earlier. It's that curb.
Oh man,
I
that
said about
curb is
that curb
brutal.
earlier.
You did. Man, that curb is causing fits for these cars.
Now we've got a fight on our hands between Amos, Taylor, Bull, and Williams for 12th position. Yukish is able to bridge away from Amos. So we're now seeing pretty much a 5-car battle for position, although 4 actually, because the last car in that 5 is a back marker. As they come out of the last corner onto the pit straight, I think Amos will hold on for the time being, but this is definitely the closest battle we've got on circuit involving these. Stefan Dodder is within a second of Ridgeway. That's Clark Williams attempts to get by Jerry Bull for 14th place. Bull's exit from 3 wasn't very good, and Williams can now use the slipstream to his effect. It's not a long straight, is turn 4, but Williams is, if he can get alongside, get at least a bit of his nose ahead, he might have a chance, but no, I think Bull was able to outbrake him and retain the place.
Yeah, well, for now.
The gaps are continuing to increase. Luca Ferrani's 10 seconds off Noah Fowl in his quest for 9th position. Don't think he's going to get any higher than that.
He's just out there. 26. Annette's just out there running around by himself, you know, dodging a few back markers along the way. He's got no pressure on him at all, cranking out good solid lap times, you know, every lap.
I will say, though, that the top 26 are on the lead lap. Although Johan there is running away with it, although I think he might be ahead of some of those top 26. I'm looking to see whereabouts on the circuit he is now, because he's that far in front. I would say he's like the entire field up to 22nd, because Dorian Arroyo is in 22nd place. He's just been lapped by Johan Annette. At least Arroyo is potentially going to get to the end of his home race here in Mexico City.
Yeah, and there's 21st place right there. So you can see Annette right there in the background. He's closing on him pretty fast.
Alan Telsmer running there. Not doing too bad of a job. He hasn't been involved in too many incidents. Ludwig Ransson certainly has been. He has had 2 spins at turn 12. One that contributed to him going into the barrier and needing repairs done. And the second one where he's just spun not too long ago. And he's continuing on his way in 20th position, but he has got 20 seconds to make up pretty much on Mehmet Taski, who's just got by Justin Fields. He was continuing to have a mare of it in this one. Yeah,
Fields has been, again, I think a lot of this, the contributing factor to a lot of these incidents that we're seeing, again, is a newness to this track. Nobody has got a ton of experience on this track. Not that I want to contribute to anybody's misery, but just since we were just talking about it and what a rough day he's having.
So, he just caught a little. I think the car had already begun to slide, and as he caught the curb, it contributed to Fields sliding more than he did. It was just a slide, nothing more than that.
No, he didn't hurt the car, and he just suffered the tires maybe a little bit.
Scott Taylor with his personal best lap of the race in P12, chasing after Alexei Yukish as the laps continue to wind down here in the iGPFun Super Formula Lightsley's first race here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez.
That's a good time to crank out your best lap of the race for yourself, because you got these. We had a 4-car battle there at one point. Now it's it's kind of split up, but these two are battling back here. It's a great time for Taylor to pull away and put some distance between those guys.
Fields has a slowdown to his name, not for the first time in this one.
Man, he is bound to get a black flag soon.
Through the S's once more. There did used to be kind of like 3 chicanes around this particular part of the course before they reduced it to 2, when they were basically refurbishing this racetrack to host Formula 1 again back in 2015. It's been on the calendar every year since, apart from 2020 of course, because of the pandemic. But recently, Mexico City, well, I say recently. Oh, that's a car in the barrier.
Oh,
Who was that that's just gone into the wall there? I wondered who that was. Was that Clark Williams? I think it was Clark Williams.
Yeah,
After running
was.
relatively well, he's rejoined the race anyway in 19th spot.
Well, I clicked away right as that was happening, too.
He was going through turn 12.
Yep, he had Rancone.
He just grinded along the
Same
curb.
spot though, man. That is a brutal area right there. Huh? Oh, don't do it.
Well, he just had to wait until there was a gap for him to rejoin, and he does get going again. Clark Williams, no harm done. But going back to what I was saying about Mexico City, it has recently signed another deal to host Formula One until 2028.
Well, it's hugely popular. Very populated city. I think Mexico City is like 12 million people or something. It's a very big population in that area. And of course, Mexico's favorite son is coming back to Formula One next year. So obviously that serves them well going to Mexico City with his fan base down there, Checo's fan base.
There's going to be a lot of Cadillac merch being purchased by those
sure is.
adoring Mexican fans.
It sure is. They were all Red Bull. You go down there before, it was all Red Bull. Now it's all going to be Cadillac.
For absolutely sure. There's probably still some with the Racing Point gear that'll been turning up. I mean, to be fair, it's not a bad idea to turn up a Racing Point because one, Racing Point doesn't exist in Formula One anymore.
That's
and
right.
Secondly, when you think of Racing Point, you think of Sergio Perez when he won for them in Bahrain 5 years back.
Well, that's what got him the Red Bull seat, basically, was that drive where he came from, wasn't it last place? Did he come all the way from the back? Yeah,
he came through. Well, he got involved in a first lap accident with Charles Leclerc, which forced him to the back of the field and came back through to win.
Yeah, that was... that's one of those drive of a lifetime kind of situations, you know.
There we see Stefan Dodderer keeping his car out of trouble so far in this one. We've got Robert Ridgway running in 5th place. There's a car just staying out the way there. Being laps.
Oh. I guess Ridgway, boy, he kind of threw that car around there to get it to get it wide into that turn there. It seemed a little awkward, but I think it was probably okay. It just...
Well, Dodder is in the slipstream, and I think he's going to go by Ridgway here. I think Ridgway's tyres are really beginning to fall off the cliff, whereas Dodder has preserved his tyres during the mid part of this, and this is enough for him to just sail by Robert Ridgway. I have to say, Ridgway, he looks like he eased off as he allowed Dodder through. I wonder if Ridgway's got some form of technical issue that may have contributed as to why he didn't have that pace down the long pit straight.
I mean, either that or he knew that, he wasn't going to be able to hold Dodder up with his tires in the shape that they're in, and instead of fighting, let's get this over with and maintain our pace so Ridgway doesn't catch. I mean, so that Flint doesn't catch up, or whoever else is back there, Jimenez and those guys.
Dodder into P5 and looking strong enough to hold on. And here is Tony Jimenez running in P8. Last week into Lagos, he only managed as high as 4th, but this has not been one of Jimenez's best races, has it?
Not so far, but I mean, we still got a few minutes here. We still got 10 laps or so to go, and he's closing on Maverick, so. I mean, in theory, that would put him in 7th place. That's not a horrible run.
He's holding on.
Oh, that didn't help.
He's had a lock up into the penultimate turn, and that will give a little bit of buffer for Andy Flint for now. There's Jimenez. Well, he's got Noah Fowl right behind, who is waiting for an invite. The invite's not quite there yet, but could be later on. Lap 25 out of 35. We've got 11 to go.
Them back tires locked up hard right there. That might be time to move your brake bias a little bit. They, as the car's lightening up, those back tires were a little grabbing there. He might want to Move that brake bias up a little bit.
Dodderer in 5th position,
I'll tell you what,
5.7 seconds off Tom Donohoe.
Ridgway seemed to let him go to some degree, maybe, but I mean, he's certainly sticking with him so far.
He's sticking to him like glue, but Dodderer wants to pull away from Ridgway as soon as he can. He's got Donohoe ahead.
I was gonna say, poor Raccoon's had another incident. I'm not gonna go, I'm not gonna just beat a dead horse there, so to speak. But man, this has not been his race at all.
15 seconds the margin between Yeronet on his way to 2 wins out of 2 in the iGPFun Super Formula Lights League in 2025 Season 4. It's been that compelling from him. But he's like, I think he'll probably feel like no one's really challenged there. I will say Robert Ridgway's got back ahead of Stefan Dodderer, and I think Dodderer's made an error, Jim. He's gone back to pit lane.
Oh, he did. Oh, he sure did. Let's see what happened.
Yeah, he's hit the wall somewhere, I think.
Yeah, our
He's
spun it right here. Oh, yep, that curve bit him. Golly.
Yeah, he caught the wall and it damaged the car. And it's such a shame because that's probably been the best race I've seen from him in a while without him getting involved in any form of incident.
To be fair, it was the best action we've had on track, as far as upfront battling, although this is shaping up here as Jimenez looks like after his little incident, he's got Noah in there now, and Noah just got by him. He may have hurt those tires a good bit when he locked them up there, especially in their condition this late in the race,
When he is in the pits now, I don't know how long it's going to be before he comes back out onto the circuit. He will be raging inside that helmet, though, after a superlative drive. He's got back on circuit now. He'll rejoin ahead of Adam Talsma in 19th position. He has lost in total of 14 positions thanks to that error.
Yeah, that's... Wow, man. He was having such a nice run, too.
That allows Ridgway and Flint into 5th and 6th places, doing the Americans proud. Noah Fau and Tony Jimenez in 7th and 8th. Luca Ferrani and Alexei Yukish have just moved up. Well, since we spoke about Jimenez, he lost the position to Noah Fau.
Yes.
And Jimenez is now in 8th position.
Yeah, and he was obviously right on the heels of Flint, and it looked like he was going to make a move on him, and then he locked him up coming out of the stadium area there on the last turn. Well, I guess that's turn 17 and or 16, and he went backwards after that. And Flint is, well, I guess Noah is closing the gap on Flint slowly-ish.
Into the final quarter of this race.
Oh, Jimenez is coming back on him. Look at those brakes on Jimenez's car. They are on fire, man.
Yeah, that tells you everything you need to know about this circuit. And I don't know whether that's an iRacing thing where the brakes are just constantly glowing.
Well, if you look at Jimenez's car is not glowing like that.
Well, it's not on the right-hand side there. Someone's had left some smoke there. I don't know, it was a lockup. And Ridgway's out. He was out for a moment, but now he's had a slowdown. What has he managed to do?
What did he... Oh.
And there's a car off as well. That might be Clark Williams, who's not had his first incident of the race. But I think Ridgway has been involved in some form of trouble. I wonder if he has taken to the escape road and come back onto the circuit. That slowdown's gone now.
Does not show anything, not even an off track for Ridgway.
He's still in 5th place, is Ridgway. Flint and Fau and Jimenez are now in a three-way squabble for 6th.
Well, yeah,
there's a back marker getting out of the way. You can just see Flint's got Fau on his tail, and Fau is looking to go for it as they enter towards turn 1. Fau does go through ahead of Flint, rides the curb, but he does get it slowed down. Nice move there from the Frenchman.
Yeah, I mean, he's flying right now. He's found a little pace here. And he is pulling away from Flint just, quickly. And now Flint's fixing to have a mirror full of Jimenez again if he's not, If
he can keep it up, he's got Ridgeway ahead that, has not had the best time of it in the last lap or two. Well, so with all the chaos that's been happening, Eddie Amos is running in 12th position. The closest battle is essentially these three.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you look on the timing tower, the reason why they're all white, or most of them are white, is because they're more than a second behind the car that they are chasing.
Yeah, and if you really look closely at the gaps there, a lot of them are well over 2, 3, 4 seconds. There's nothing really close except for this little battle right here. I mean, there's one here or there, but nothing. This is definitely the battle. And saying that, they're even spreading out a little bit themselves.
Not long left in this, 7 to go for the race leader, who's hardly been troubled from start to finish. Led every single lap. And Fow is
what a show he's put on.
Position.
He's put on just a clinic today.
He's just in a different league. It's as simple as that. I don't know how he does it.
I mean, his laps are so fast. His last lap was faster than anybody else's best lap in the race. And that's not even his best lap.
Yeah.
He's lapping better than everybody else in the field's best lap.
It was just on a 1:34.3 that time around.
Right. On 30 lap old tires.
Consistency is clearly the prime ingredient. And Ewan Samuel, who has posted his best up of those, so it's a 1:34.5. Not even better than what Johannes just posted.
No, that's what I'm saying. He literally is lapping, just his regular general laps are faster than anybody else's best time. And he's all the way up to Clark Williams here in the green car. So that be 18th place that he's coming up on to lap.
Let's focus on Dorian Arroyo because he's got Scott Haddock behind in a battle for 21st place. Dorian Arroyo, who's just lost the position, he's competing on home territory. He is going side by side with Haddock on the approach to turn 1. And is he doing enough to hold on here? I don't think he is. Haddock has got the place and Arroyo has to yield.
So, we were talking about the brakes heat showing I'm not even sure. Was it Jimenez's brakes that were lit up so much or earlier? Yeah,
and you could just see Arroyo's right front brake is glowing.
But not like the one we were looking at earlier. That one was just blazing red, which tells you two things. It tells you that the brake bias is probably cranked forward on that car a little bit, and it also tells you that that driver is heavier on the brakes, obviously. But the byproduct of that people don't realize is that increases your tire temperature, because the hotter the brakes get, they heat up there's a little lockup right there. They heat up the tires, and it in turn raise the tire temperatures up, and which can ultimately cause the tires to get slicker and harder to grip. So being heavy on the brakes sometimes can be a negative. Back in the old days before they fixed it, the old trick to get your tires warmed up in iRacing was to drag the brake. If you rode around on the pace lap with the brake dragging, it would heat your tires up and you'd have better tire temperature for the opening lap.
We haven't got long left in this. As I've already mentioned, Johan is on his way to 2 wins from 2. Yunus Amal, who finished in second place last week at Interlagos, is on course for a second place finish. Wasn't Brad Fulligo in second place at one point? Because he's now behind Yunus Amal in this race. He's 8 seconds off. I don't know whether he's made a mistake somewhere, but he's now only less than 3 seconds clear of the Aussie Tom Donahoe, who's between them
Which
in.
I have to say, that Tom is having a great race. We haven't talked about him a lot. You know, he's having a really good race. Yeah, let's see, he was passed right here. Oh,
that is Fulliger. That was Fulliger when it went spinning at the penultimate turn.
See that one more time. I'll change the camera angle on it and get us a better look at it. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I had it focused on the wrong driver, but yeah.
He's lucky to continue with that because it looked like he backed it against the wall. He continues on his way.
Surprising that he was able to maintain third place there. That's actually pretty impressive. I wonder if Tom's gonna start gaining on him a little bit here. I guess we got 3 laps to go.
The drivers who have gained the most positions in this race, Cypress Villains has gained 14 spots from where he started. He started the race in 27th. He's in 13th. Adam Talsma has gained the same number of positions as we see Cherry Bull go toe-to-toe with Soap Williams, or Villains, I should say. Just holding on. And we're starting to see a few more battles. I wonder if Villains' tyres are beginning to fall away as the laps continue to reduce more and more. We haven't got long left here in Mexico City's first race in the iGPFun Super Formula Lights League. And that's Eddie Amos, I think, who is being overtaken by one of the back markers. I don't think that was Scott Taylor that got by. That's one of the back markers.
Yeah, he may be on fresh tires, so whoever that is may have just come out of pits or something with fresh tires or like that. This battle right here, though.
Down the back straight towards turn 4. No way through for Jerry Bull on Villains. You've got Ben Goya and Merritt Taskey also getting involved. Remember, Merritt Taskey had that spin that dropped him so far down the field. He's now back into 16th position with only a few laps remaining here.
Well, this is turning into shaping up maybe be a nice little battle towards the end of the race here.
The race leader, Johanna. Now, someone's got into the barrier. I just saw some smoke as they went through the S's. I couldn't see who that was that went into the barrier. It might have been someone going for a spin. But thankfully, it didn't look like it put any of the other drivers off. And I think we're okay for now. Justin Fields is about to be lapped by the race leader. Fields is in 17th position, around about 5 seconds off this battle, with Merritt Taskey trying to close in on the 3 cars ahead of him in their own tussle as he skims the barrier, coming out of 16. Not long left.
No, we're narrowing them down. So this is, I guess, when Annette gets around here, he's going to take the white flag. Again, I can't show you where he's at. Oh,
there he is. Look, that's Johan Annette putting a lap on Justin Fields on the penultimate tour. It's been that sort of race. It's now just the top 16 on the lead lap, where Johan Annette is 20 seconds clear over his nearest rival.
Wow, what a drive. We'll stay back here, though. This is heating up a little bit. Stay back here for a minute. Without a track map, it's hard to tell where Annette is, though. I don't want to miss him crossing the finish line.
Well, he isn't far off this group, actually. He's only just coming up to them, Jim. Scott Haddock comes in with some repairs needing to be done, unless he decides that he's had enough for this evening. And his pit stop has allowed Andrew Harris to go through into P25. Alex Hopkins, who started the race in 37th position, is up to 24th. Oscar Ottononu up from 36th to 23rd, which is not too bad going. Adam Talsma is now at 15 spots from his starting position. He started 35th and he's about to finish in 20th place. He might be finishing a lap down and 47 seconds behind Stefan Dodderer, the next car ahead.
You know, at least that's not the kind of thing that gets celebrated too much on a broadcast or something. But it is quite an accomplishment to finish 15 or 20 spots up. So he just took the white flag there. So this is it, final lap.
And what a comfortable performance it's been from Johan from pole position. As we see more cars getting out of the way, although that's Eddie Amos being overtaken by Jerry Bull for 12th position. So Jerry Bull saving the best until last. They will still have one more lap to do the next time they get round. Stefan Dodderer has picked up a black flag. That'll be a track limits penalty, which I will imagine will be added to his race time because it's that late in the race.
Yep.
He will not need to just come into the pit lane.
That's going to unfortunately be a 40 second. Oh, he's coming in now? Yep.
Yeah, he's coming now. But
it would have been a 40-second penalty otherwise.
And if he went to the flag, he actually wouldn't have lost any places because he was that clear over Adam Telsma.
Oh, that's true.
He did not need to come in. He did not need to come into the pit lane like he did there, Stefan Dodderer. But unfortunately, after a convincing performance in the early stages before he had that spin, which forced him down the order, it's it's pretty much unraveled for him. We'll go to race leader Johan Nett, who is on his way to win number 2 of the campaign. He's coming up to back markers, which won't be a worry to him because he's only got 2 more corners to get through. In iGPFun Super Formula Lights' first race around this track, Johan Nett made it look like his playground. He wins out at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. It's victory for Johan Nett in Mexico City. What a drive from pole position, leading every single lap of the race and setting the fastest lap in the process.
Look at this lead, would you? Second place still hadn't crossed the line. Wow.
22 seconds behind is Yunus Amal, who makes it 2 second-place finishes in a row. A brilliant start to the season. And Brad Fulliger gets his first podium of the campaign, holding off Tom Donahoe to the end. And then behind Donahoe will be Robert Ridgway in 5th place, Noah Fow, and a decent 6th with Andy Flint, Tony Jimenez in 8th, Luca Ferrani and Alexei Yukish are expected to round out the top 10. But there is this battle for 13th position between Eddie Amos, Mehmet Taski, St. Willems and Ben Goya, Jim, which we could have a look at. So they're coming through the S's. I think Eddie Amos should be fine unless... Oh, that's a spin for Willems. That'll lose him time. I think he's lost the position to Ben Goya, unfortunately.
He did.
But further ahead, we've got Mehmet Taski closing in on Eddie Amos as we run out of corners here through the Forest Soul for the last time. Are we going to see any changes here? I think Joey Bull's going to miss out on closing on Scott Taylor. I think Taylor will be all right where he is. But now, as they head over the line, it is Scott Taylor 11th, Joey Bull 12th. It's Eddie Amos in a decent 13th. Mehmet Taski, Ben Goya and Sight Williams are the last cars on the lead lap.
Well, we certainly had our fair share of incidents. It did seem to be a lot of off tracks for sure. And a couple of surprising spins. There's several places that were obviously a problem for these cars, the curbing, which I guess it's it's set up for Formula One, so it's set up to make it tough on these kind of cars.
Let's run down on the race result here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City, in Mexico, in the iGPFun Super Formula Lights League. Johan Nett is the winner by 22 seconds over Yunus Amal in 2nd place. Brad Fulliger 3rd with Tom Donahoe in 4th place. Robert Ridgway 5th, and it's Noah Fowl 6th. Andy Flint 7th, holding off Tony Jimenez, Luca Ferrani, and Alexei Yukish to the end. And that was pretty much that inside the top 10. Scott Taylor 11th with Joe Bull 12th. And it's Eddie Amos in 13th place with Mehmet Taski, Ben Goya, Sight Williams, or Willems, I should say. Justin Fields 17th, the first driver lap down, and it's Clark Williams, Adam Telsman, and Dorian Arroyo, who gets to the end of his home round in 20th place. Antoine Holston and Oscar Arsenano are in 21st and 22nd. Alex Hopkins coming through nicely from the back row to 23rd, with Stefan Dodderer pulling out just before the end. Andrew Harris and Scott Haddock also getting to the end. And we've also lost the likes of Bahinden Ayan, Albert Harari, Kuchi Ito. We also lost Ludwig Ranson, George Taylor, Denny Cornu, Harry Suston, Nathan Rosso, and Guyan, Richard Van Veen, Eddie Iskerol, and Darren Makavunga never even started.
Yeah, that was very interesting. Very interesting. I I really think that the unfamiliarity with this track contributed to some of that what we saw today. They guys not knowing where the limits were on some of these corners, and not necessarily, you make a mistake and hit the wrong curb and don't realize how bad it's going to punish you.
Well, that concludes today's action here in Mexico City. Thank you very much to everyone that's joined in the live chat. We'll have a look at the live chat actually just before we close, just in case anyone's just come in with anything that they want to say on what we've seen. 35 laps of action has certainly treated us. At least we've learned something around this circuit. And yes, Sunday, he's going to come in saying that Johan stopped typing while driving. Yeah, that's a very strong point, actually. And well, that just tells you about his dominance today, isn't it? 2 wins out of 2, maximum points for the man racing under the flag of Quebec. It's time to wrap it up, and we'll do it over again next time out. Jim, thank you very much for joining me, and thanks to everyone that's tuned in. Do make sure you like and subscribe if you keep right up to date with all the action that is being streamed on the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel. The next round will be at the Rebel Ring in Austria, so do please tune in for then, same time next week. I am Tom Cairns with Jim Cunningham, and we'll speak to you again soon when the iGPFun Super Formula Lights League returns.